Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's me, I'm back again. Except I probably have to drop the ladies thing because 100% of my viewers are male. So truly a no bitches moment. Anyway, today I want to talk about the best game ever made, Battlebit Remastered. And we're going to do a little bit of a checkup here. And let's take a look at those Steam charts because, oh man, you guys were so excited to spam the fuck out of Steam charts for the first, well, what seems like an eternity ago, the first few weeks of the game, and oh my god, it's true that if you just release an incredible game, people will play it. Oh well, let's see what happened here. Yikes. Certified yikes moment. So we have gone from a peak of 86,000 players in the game's third weekend, and now just this past weekend I think we hit a peak of around 46,000 people this last weekend. So 40,000 players already not logging into the game, and the averages are dropping every day, weekend by weekend, since it had a good little run there where it stayed pretty stable for about 3 weekends, I would say. And then after that, it's just fallen off a cliff every weekend since. Now, the first cope argument you hear is, oh, Lex, come on, it's summertime. People aren't playing games in the summertime. Well, number one, it's not summer everywhere. There are 2 hemispheres on this globe. And beyond that, the game launched in the summertime. So, obviously, the people were here, just a month ago in the summertime. Did they all magically disappear? School hasn't started back up again. School doesn't start back up again for most people for another month. You can say, oh, well, all these people are on vacation. Are these people taking a 4-week vacation? From Battlebit Remastered, they are. Or at least it seems that way. So, I put some feelers out there, and I got some responses to this. It's like, I asked, where are the players going? And I had a couple of responses, and one person was like, well, there's really not much to do in the game besides unlock guns. I've heard complaints about the maps, because, man, there are some pretty god-awful dog shit maps in that game, because apparently the developers and the makers of Battlebit Remastered have maybe never played an FPS game in their lives and don't understand that when you put a large group of players in situations where you're in a big fucking city street and there's 79,000 windows and each one of those windows, by the way, and the roofs, they can all have a person that can kill you in 150 milliseconds. Gee, that certainly sounds like a lot of fun, doesn't it? And I don't want to completely and totally shit on the game because I do think the game has some redeeming values. It runs pretty well. I mean, you have no other choice but to fucking run well because the graphical fidelity on the game is dog shit. I don't care about that, but I know casuals do. The gunplay is pretty fucking basic, extremely fucking basic even. There's hardly any recoil. I don't really notice any spread. There's some velocities on some guns feel bad, but other than that, it's fine. It's playable. Beyond that, the voice interactions, the voice chat and all that stuff, great feat. I wish more games did that. Awesome. Probably the majority of the fun I've seen people have, and most of the fun that I would have in the game is interacting with that. So, cool feature. Wish we could see more of that. Beyond that, yeah, so I've been told, there isn't really much to do in the game. It's pretty basic. Most of the maps are dog shit. There's a lot of guns. There's some balance concerns, balance problems, and before you get all up in arms about weapon balance concerns in a game that's a month old, this happens in every game. But you can tell that, and again, I got to go back to the thing. Have you ever played a fucking FPS game before, Battlebit developers and designers? Because when you put an extremely high rate of fire gun in the game, you need to do things that limit its effectiveness. And this game's ranges seem, for the most part, you can force close range engagements a lot and medium range engagements pretty easily because of how a lot of maps are constricted in urban settings. So, of course, a massive fire rate weapon in a low time to kill game is going to be extremely fucking viable in the game. Now, for whatever reason, we keep having these weapon designers and game devs that don't understand that when you put that kind of weapon in the game, you have to put You have to balance it the correct fucking way, and they never do it because they don't understand what fucking hit rate is. Hit rate is the most important thing when you're balancing a type of gun that way. Take a look at, think of almost any FPS game that you've played and it has some ridiculous 900 to 1200 rate of fire weapon in it. Yeah, it's going to shred in close range, of course, because that's what it's designed for. But when you arbitrarily allow it to reach out, at that rate of fire, maintaining a damage model, and you can't just add drop-off to it. That's not the only thing you need. You need drop-off, you need spread, and you need HREC, which is horizontal recoil. You need all three of those things in conjunction, and you probably need a smaller magazine, too. I don't see any reason to why a 1200 rate of fire weapon would need to have a 30 or 40 round magazine. It should probably never be above 20. Take a look at Battlefield 1's Automatico. Totally cancer gun. In the grand scheme of things, by the end of the game, it was a pretty middle-of-the-road SMG. With the TTK shift, it's not really any less viable, and it's not really any less viable because of some of the things that I mentioned. Now, they did try to hit it with some HREC. It only has a 20-round magazine, so it can be very unforgiving to shitty players just spamming it. But it has a 20-round magazine, and it has nasty horizontal recoil, and SMGs in that game have terrible bullet velocity. And yeah, generally your spread, your bullet velocity will keep you from engaging people at range. And if you are still good enough to engage people at range, your damage drop-off is so severe, combined with the HREC and the spread, that you're not going to have a good time fighting people at range. That's not to say you can't fight people at range if you're good. It's just that you're heavily, heavily shit on for trying to do that. And you have to massively outskill or be better than the person that you're engaging at that range. So is the vector a balance problem? Probably, but if you've ever played an FPS game before, which apparently I keep having to say, I don't know if these guys have ever played a game before, obviously it's going to be a problem. The same reason that Medic is the pretty much only viable fucking class in the game. Another obvious problem. Now, I haven't played the game since my initial review of it, and I will never ever play that game again until the draconic, archaic, dog shit two-stage healing is removed from the game. I don't really mind the magazine stuff that much, but two-stage healing and being forced to rely on other players to play the game, aka no one fucking drops ammo ever, so as soon as you run out of ammo, just run in and die so you can get ammo again. That's not fun or enjoyable. Now, I get a lot of people are still having fun with the game, and I don't want to say that you're not allowed to have fun with the game, or that you shouldn't have fun with that game. And if you are having fun with the game, I'm happy for you. But a lot of you aren't just having fun with the game. A lot of people went out of their way to try to crown this game as fucking game of the year. Which absolutely fucking not. It's massively overrated. The players are dropping like flies now. It just had an update this past weekend, and the player counts are still dropping. I've heard that if you don't like the milsim aspects of it, you're going to have some community-based servers that are going to get rid of that stuff. But sorry, that's not good enough for me. Honestly, I'm not going to log into your game specifically to play on community servers. That's not the type of player I am. The general base experience needs to wake up, come 20 years into the future, and realize that these fucking mechanics are dog shit and they need to go away. So you catered this game. I don't know who you're catering the game to. It feels a little bit arcadey, and I talked about in my initial review the fact that it presents itself as something different. It presents itself almost as Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4, but then when you play it, you feel like you're playing some milsim garbage in half of the aspects of the game. Very fucking strange, weird design. There's a lot of casual milsim shitters out there who like that, but I think in the end, those are the people that are going to be in a niche enough player group that they're going to stay playing the game because they enjoy that sort of thing. Other than that, your general audiences are going to turn off because we've been playing games for a long time now, and we have expectations for how games play. And a lot of the gameplay mechanics are frustrating in the game. Beyond that, you have, of course, actual good players descended upon the game and are shitting on 9-to-5 battle dads, who obviously hate that, and they'll quit the game. They'll quit the game just because there's a movement skill gap in the game in the first place. Maybe they come back when that's changed. I don't know. But beyond that, yeah, I gave this game about 90 days originally, but you know, I'm not even really sure because the game's not growing at all. It really peaked its second or third weekend, and it hasn't been back. So maybe 90 days was too much. Maybe this fucking thing will be dead in the ground in 60 days. I don't know. We'll see in a couple weeks here what changes they make and what they do, but yeah, it ain't looking good. And you guys that are building up the game and sucking the game's dick for the last 2 months, sorry. You made your bed, now fucking lay in it, shitters.